Hello, hello, hello. It's Josh Goldstein coming at you today on Veterans Day. And today, what I'd really like to do is chat with you about military families and the immigration issues facing military families. This is something that's incredibly important to me. It's incredibly vital. Today is Veterans Day, and we want to give our respect to those men and women in uniform who've served our country, as well as veterans and others in the armed forces. Nothing makes me happier than helping undocumented immigrants who have a connection to the military. I feel as though if you have served in the military, the last thing in the world you should worry about is the immigration status of your close family members. It's heartbreaking to think that our men and women who've served in the military or who are veterans have to worry about their parents or their children or their other family members being deported. But here we are. The essential path forward for undocumented immigrants is something called parole in place. So you want to pay very, very close attention. If you are in the United States and you're undocumented, or if you are in the military and you have a family member who's undocumented, parole in place could be a solution. It's a program specifically intended to help undocumented military families. This program was created in part through the work of one of my colleagues and someone who I deeply admire. Her name is Margaret Stock. She won the MacArthur Award, the Genius Award, and I have all the respect in the world for her. And she was instrumental in the creation of this program. So whenever I come across someone who's undocumented, I always ask them this important question. And you should be asking yourself this question. Do you have a close family member who's a veteran or active duty? If you do, then there could be a path forward. And, so it's the military parole in place is not a panacea for all immigration problems for undocumented immigrants, but it's designed to fix one specific problem. And that is, if you entered the United States without inspection, if you snuck into the United States, if you entered the United States without inspection, and you're here in the United States without proper immigration status, the way that you entered the US is going to have a huge impact on your legal rights as an immigrant. So parole in place is a program that's designed to help you create the legal equivalent of a proper entry. That proper entry is essential for anyone trying to get a green card within the US. So that's why whenever someone says, hey, I want to help my parents get their green cards, I want to help my wife get a green card, if the person's undocumented, then I ask about military service or whether the family member is a veteran. If you entered the US with a visa and you overstayed the visa, this program is not for you. It's not something that you need. So I want you to be aware that military parole in place is available. I want to tell you a story right now about a family that I helped in the Los Angeles area. This was a case that our office worked on, I think in 2018, 2019. Beautiful Mexican family. And the parents were undocumented. The children were US citizens. So they wanted to help their parents get proper immigration status. The parents had entered the US without inspection and then had children, and they hadn't been back to Mexico for 20, 30 years, maybe. Very, very long time. And military parole in place was the path that we used. So the first question I asked them was, hey, do you have a brother or sister who served in the armed forces? there was a sister in this case who was active duty. So we first got parole in place, and then we were able to help them get a green card, and they were able to visit Mexico for the first time in 30 years. And it was a very emotional case, and it was something that was of great importance. And it was also surprising because they weren't really sure that this program existed, because they had been to other lawyers, and other lawyers who didn't know about it had told them, look, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. In this case, they were so skeptical of the path that I recommended that first we did the father's case. And once that was approved, they came back and we did the mother's case. So we got both parents approved, and I was really proud of that. Military parole in place. It's a plan for the undocumented. It's something to keep in mind. I have my thoughts on this on today, which is Veterans Day. And I want to just throw it out there. Do you have questions about military parole in place? Are you in the military, or does your family need help? If you have any questions at all, I'm here. I thought I'd log in to just say hi, and I'm on Instagram as well as YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and dozens of other these services. So I just thought I'd jump in and say hi and try to answer some of these questions. And I want to thank you for tuning in. All right. So we have a question from Belkis Zarabi. How to apply for family in Afghanistan? Oh, this is a very, very tough issue. Let me try to answer this question as best I can. So if you have, first of all, if you have family who are in Afghanistan, my heart goes out to you. My heart goes out to all Afghan people. I hope you're safe and well during these incredibly difficult times. So there are a couple of ways you can do this. The first way is through traditional family-based immigration. If your children are in outside the U.S. and you're a U.S. citizen or permanent resident, you can petition for them. If you're a U.S. citizen and your parents are outside the U.S., you can petition for them, and so on. The other way you can do it, which is faster, is through a new program. It's not a new program actually, but it's being widely used right now. It's called humanitarian parole. Our office has been filing these cases pro bono and low bono, which is basically we do them for the lowest fee that we can charge. And we filed a number of these cases. So humanitarian parole is another way you can go forward. And finally, I should say that one of the biggest problems for Afghan cases is not immigration. One of the biggest problems is just the logistics of leaving Afghanistan. We know that the consulate or the embassy in Kabul is closed. It's not open. They're not able to process any documents. And in fact, as the Taliban was taking over Afghanistan, the embassy burned the paperwork and all the documents. So what you really need to do is try to process the case in a third country. You can request that your case be sent from Afghanistan to Pakistan, Karachi, or Istanbul. You can also request that the case be transferred to Doha or Ankara or any other third country. The problem is, how do you get out of the country? How logistically would that work? This is where my limits as an immigration lawyer come in. I'm good at getting people visas and green cards and citizenship, and especially knowledgeable on certain immigration issues. But I don't know how to evacuate Afghanistan. That's one of the many things I don't know, but I do have tremendous sympathy. We have a client who we filed a lawsuit for. We sued the government because of a processing delay. She petitioned for her husband and her daughter who are in Afghanistan, and we were fighting that case. They were just evacuated last night, so it was incredibly good news. Anyway, I hope these comments are helpful. I'll answer another question from Levi Lee. one of our friends on YouTube. Will your office ever be able to help with the embassy in the Philippines and the backlog? I emailed earlier and I only got that it wouldn't be a good fit for no reason. Levi, I want to thank you for your question. And first of all, I have tremendous sympathy for anyone from the Philippines. My wife is Filipina, and I have two boys who are little Pinoy boys running around causing trouble at my house. Our senior associate attorney, Erica Varian, is Filipino. So our firm is totally down with the Filipino people. And I like to think of myself as an honorary Filipino myself. So I have tremendous sympathy for anyone who's stuck in this processing hell that's going on in Manila. The reason that I said that that your case might not be a good fit is not because I don't want to help you. It's that I don't want to take your case and have you be disappointed with the result. And a lot of times the cases from the Philippines that we've worked on have ended with disappointment. And we took on another case recently from the Philippines just last week. We may be doing this again soon, but the situation in Manila is a very challenging one. Levi, I'm going to put my email address. This is for my friends. I don't think you can see this on YouTube or on Instagram, but I'm going to put my email and link on on YouTube. I'm going to put it on YouTube. If you see my email address, shoot me an email. Tell me more about your case and how I can contact you. And I'll see if there's anything I can do to help out. But my heart goes out to you. Here's another question from Abdullah Mohammadi. Says, I'm an SIV applicant. I will arrive 15 more days to the U.S. How can I get my family to the U.S.? Well, that's a good question. I would need to know a lot more information about your particular situation and what's going on. I hope you message me so I can give you some more information. Hey, one of our friends on YouTube, Simon Rabini, so great to see you, that you tuned in. Thank you for your time. Hope all is well with you. Mike Prilla, our friend on YouTube, Facebook, says, I served and our embassy is closed. It sucks. Well, first of all, thank you for your service. Secondly, which embassy are you talking about? Maybe there's a workaround. Maybe you can transfer your case from one consulate to the next or from one embassy to the next. We've been doing that in a few different places. First of all, the embassies in Laos are not processing visas right now. So we're transferring those cases to third countries. The embassies in Russia for a while were not processing visas. We sent those cases to Poland. And Baghdad was closed. We sent the cases to Erbil. When Erbil closed, we sent the cases to Armenia or to Turkey. So you have to look for a third country. And what's hard is that a lot of people can't physically get from one country to the next. So I appreciate that. But please let me know what questions you have and keep your questions coming. I'll do my best to try to answer. Thank you, Mike, for tuning in. Belky, I got to your question earlier. I hope it was helpful in some way. Here we have one of my squash playing friends, Mr. White from Portland, Maine. I think you're in Portland now. I hope you're doing well. I want to thank you for tuning in on Veterans Day. Great memories with him. What else can I do to help out? There's another thing we should talk about too with Veterans Day, and that is there's a way to speed up. There may be extra ways you can become a naturalized U.S. citizen if you're connected to the military. So that's something to definitely think about. And So if you're interested if you have a green card and you want to become a citizen and you're going into the military, there could be all sorts of different options for you. So that's something you want to definitely try to sort out as well. But it's not easy. It's a challenge to do that. And everybody who has a green card should definitely become a U.S. citizen if you have the option to do so. I strongly believe that. And I've never had anyone who's hired me and who I've helped to transfer from green card to citizen through the naturalization process. I've never had anybody come back and say, oh, I'm so sorry I did that. I regret doing that. It's a great source of joy whenever someone transfers their case and changes it from green card to citizen. That's a great thing because permanent residency is not necessarily permanent, and citizenship almost always is. So it's a beautiful thing when people have that symbol and those rights and those powers that only citizens have. Only citizens can vote. Only citizens can truly live abroad. Only citizens are exempt from our ridiculous immigration laws and an absurd immigration system. And so many things in my practice, so many problems that I see from people who never got around to applying for naturalization. It's a real source of problems. I almost wish I could had a time machine, and I could solve so many immigration problems by just going back in time and having people apply for naturalization when they had the opportunity. Looks like we got a few more questions in. First of all, Abdullah, thank you for answering. I'm in a third country. I hope you're safe and I hope you're well, my friend. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you. Sima said, hey, I'm applying for a master's after receiving my green card. Can I apply for financial aid and scholarships? When can green card holders apply for citizen? These are great questions. So let me try to answer your questions, Sima. First of all, can you apply for financial aid and scholarships with the green card? The answer is yes, and also it depends. I'm no expert on financial aid. I was a student at one point. This was not recently. I had all sorts of student loans and scholarships and different things, and how I sorted those out is not, that information is unavailable to me at this late stage in my life. But each school has a financial aid office, and they have resources and information and tools. And I'm sure that as a permanent resident, there would be resources available to you, and you should avail yourself of those and take advantage of them. Our office offers a scholarship, and we're going to be running it soon. So you want to definitely check out our websites for more information about that. But yeah, I'm all in favor of student loans and scholarships. Take advantage of every dollar that you can. Why not? It's there for you. And if you can do it with a green card, then you certainly should. So the second part of your question was a good one. When can green card holders apply for citizenship? So let's talk about the general rule. The general rule is that you can apply for citizenship 5 years after you have a green card. So if you take a look at your green card and it'll say permanent resident since, and you add 5 years, that's the date that you can apply. But to clarify further, it's not actually fully 5 years. It's only 4 years, 9 months, and 1 day. So that's the general rule. Now, if you're married to a U.S. citizen and you're living together, exclusively living together with your U.S. citizen spouse, then you can apply for naturalization after only 2 years and 9 months and 1 day from the date that you first got your green card, so long as you've met all those conditions for the whole time. So it's basically either 5 years or 3 years. Those are the general rules. And the citizenship, the naturalization process takes 8 to 12 months probably at this point, depending on where you live and how you apply. Some people say it's a little faster if you apply online, but our office files paper applications. But I'd say 8 to 12 months should be the thing. Again, I think all permanent residents should be looking to apply for citizenship as soon as possible, as soon as eligible. There are some people that I don't necessarily recommend naturalization for. If you're Japanese and you have to give up your Japanese passport, well, why would you do that? Just keep your green card. If you're German, you have to seek an exemption from the dual citizenship ban that Germany has. So there are some isolated incidents where becoming a U.S. citizen would be inadvisable. Sometimes I have clients who have a lot of financial resources or complicated international tax situations. I don't know anything about that, but there could be tax implications to becoming a U.S. citizen. Definitely want to consult with a tax lawyer or think that through. I'm not a tax lawyer, I'm an immigration guy, so definitely want to consult with someone else about that. But the main theme of the day, today's Veterans Day, is parole in place. Undocumented military families, how they can take advantage of certain programs for military families, parole in place. That's my main message to you. If you're undocumented, you have a family member who's in the military, you need to learn more about this. If you have a family member who's undocumented and you're a veteran or you are active duty, then you should be asking yourself, how can you help your undocumented family member? And can you take advantage of parole in place to do that? We have a question from Ricardo Cazares. Greetings, Josh. I'm waiting for my family immigration process delay to finish with the lawsuit you helped me with. Hope we can get updates from the consulate soon. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for hiring our office. I've been following your case closely, and I'm grateful for a chance to help you and your beautiful family. I think we've gotten 2 or 3 approvals today and yesterday. So these cases are near and dear to my heart. I hate when families are separated. I love bringing families together. And our whole mission is about helping people get unstuck. We help people get unstuck by suing immigration. We sue USCIS. We sue the State Department to challenge processing delays. And after we sue them, things start moving along. We get results. Trust the process, Ricardo. It'll work. It'll get you there. It might take a few months, but we get great results and we love doing it. There's nothing that makes me happier than sending out an email that says, or giving people a call and says, hey, congratulations, the visa was issued. Especially after there's been a really long delay. That's so rewarding, and because I know how much it means to you. I know how much it means to your family, and I know that this is a source of so much stress and aggravation. So Ricardo, the main tip that I would give you right now, if you're going through the lawsuit process, is not to be overly concerned about what's happening in court. I know it sounds crazy because you hired us to do a lawsuit. I'm telling you not to be concerned about what's going on in court, but the details in court are not particularly essential. What is essential is that the lawsuit will force the consulate or the embassy or the immigration system to do its job. You shouldn't have to sue immigration to get your case approved. But nevertheless, if you're stuck with a delay, you probably do. So I'm hoping for great news from you, Ricardo. And if anyone else is out there listening that has a case that's delayed or stuck and is tired of waiting around, we would absolutely love to help you. I appreciate everybody tuning in and asking me these questions. If you have other questions, let me know. I want to thank you for your time, and we will see you in the next video. Thanks again.